in the world? Well, probably that person. So number one. Number two, what's the cost difference? So this is the cost component. New entrants can enter because they don't have to have a building, they don't have to employ anyone. If you have an iPhone and you have an internet connection, you can get famous, you can distribute. And so distribution, which is point 3, so cost of delivery is 0. Cost of distribution is 0. And so that's the big thing, is that distribution has been disrupted, which is fundamentally what the internet did in general to all industries. It's just at this moment, and I honestly think you guys want I'll try not to put my political cap on, but the reason that the formal education industry has not been disrupted or has been more slow to be disrupted than other ones is because the government props it up. People have interest-free loans they don't have to pay for 10 years. If that weren't there, they would already be gone. The fact that the government fronts $200,000, $100,000, $50,000, and the way it actually works is that they back lenders. So they say, if these people don't pay, we'll pay you back. There's more nuance to it, but fundamentally, the government backs the loans. If it doesn't cost people money to buy something, then the incremental cost appears to be 0. It's obviously way more, and I've made videos about it. But it feels like 0 because you sign a piece of paper and then you get to go to Disneyland for kids. And you don't have to do anything for 4 years, and you just get free money, right? So you have this discount, this big bad thing that happens years from now, but you get all the good things today. And that just leverages human behavior. Like 1 cookie now, more people will take it than 2 cookies later. It just is what it is. But also, side note, successful people wait for 2 cookies. Won't get into that. The reason that centralization has even existed is because of government subsidized payments. But the new creator can win because their content will be more specific and deeper, and they will have proof and evidence that they are the best at it. The cost of creating that content and or the deliverable, which is now digital education, courses, calls, whatever, is also free. And the third one is that the cost of distributing that is also free. And so the barrier to entry is pretty much just the cost of the few pieces of technology you have to rope together to have a business. And the crazy thing about this is that the irony is that it's never been lower risk to start a business than today. And so if you rewind 100 years in 1924, you would have had to save for 15 years, have a house, use your house as leverage to go to the bank and say, will you help me start this bakery? And then the bakery had real cost. And if you went out of business, you went bankrupt, you lost your reputation, and then that was it. You'd be known as a failure for the rest of your time. Now, because of that, the stakes were higher, people tried way harder, but fewer people did. And so the trade is now, it's way lower barrier to entry, and also a lot of people who have no work ethic can get into it. But it also requires the same amount of work, but less risk. You still have to work just as hard as you did however long ago, but you don't need to risk as much to get in. And I think that's pretty cool. And so fundamentally, that's why the creator economy overall is just booming. Because one person won't bring down the system, but 1 million tiny players will bring down the whole thing because they each will beat that one big player at their tiny sliver.
Could you break down the math? How much money could I actually generate?
Well, so I want to be really clear about claims, implied claims, anything like that. All businesses involve risk in general. So if you pay for a platform that's $99 a month, then your risk is $99 a month. All right, just to be clear. Beyond that, the amount of money you make is subject to how hard you try, how much you promote. But if you were to look at, and I think this is a decent proxy, if you look at some of the largest communities that exist in general on the internet, outside of school, you've got many, many communities that are at $1 million, $5 million, $10 million a month. And it's because you have a single player, free distribution, and basically as long as you have a good enough product and a ton of traffic to bring people into that product, then people will pay to be in there and see. Well, let me give you a little tidbit. So a lot of people are like, well, what do I put inside of a community? I'm gonna give you a little tactical nugget here. All right, so ProfitWell, which is owned by a buddy of mine who just sold it for $250 million, did a really cool 14,000 business survey of what were the features that people were buying that had the highest willingness to pay. So WTP is willingness to pay. And then I can't remember what these 4 were, but basically they looked at all these different features that people had in communities and which ones people wanted to buy the most versus things they thought were par for course versus things that they didn't really care about at all. And so it's kind of like care versus willingness to pay. So if you have a lot of care,